I have a big day planned in my yarn dyeing studio today. I have my nice big apron on and I have some yarn that has been soaking already, so I'm ready to go. I'm dyeing up at least 2 different colorways, hopefully 3, and also I hope to dye up a mini skein set as well. So we'll see how much I get done. It's a beautiful day outside, so I have my garage door open here in my yarn dyeing studio in my garage, and it makes it even a better day to dye yarn. Every day is a good day to dye yarn, but having the door open and the fresh air and it's warm, it just makes me happy. The sunshine always makes me happy. So, if you don't know me already, my name is Gabie, and I run this Jobby, Gabie's Knit Goodies, an Etsy shop where I sell my hand-dyed yarn to create beautiful and cozy knits and crochet and whatever fiber craft you use yarn for. I primarily do knitting with a little bit of crochet as well, and yeah, I love it. I had no idea I would love dyeing yarn so much, but I got into it because I enjoyed using hand-dyed yarn in my handicrafts, and as you probably know, it can be expensive when you do it a lot and when you use a lot of yarn, and so I decided to try my hand at dyeing it myself, and it turns out that I absolutely love creating the colorways and seeing the magic of putting them into the yarn and how they develop when they're actually placed on the yarn, and then how that works into the finished object like socks or sweater or shawl. I just love the whole process. So it takes hand making like totally up a notch when I make something with my own hand-dyed yarn. It's just the coolest feeling ever. So anyways, I am thrilled to have you along in my process today and to chat a little bit with you and to share you a little bit about what I am making. Before I get started, you can find me, like I said, on Etsy at Gabie's Knit Goodies, and also on social media, Instagram at Gabie's Knit Goodies, and then I have one purely dedicated for my yarn on Instagram called GKG for Gabie's Knit Goodies Yarn. So GKG Yarn on Instagram, and that's where I put all of my yarn photos. Yeah, and Gabie's Knit Goodies on Instagram is more of my knit and crochet projects that I put up there. So anyways, I'm also on Ravelry, although I'm not the best at keeping up with that, and I have a few yarn patterns as well on Ravelry and love knitting, so maybe I'll see you around some of the social medias as well. I did start a TikTok as well, so we'll see how long I keep up with that one. Alright, this first one I'm going to dye is the Casein colorway. And so I've soaked my yarn, and now I am putting it in the pot, and then I'm going to pour color over it. And I can fit 4 skeins in a pot at once, comfortably. And each yarn colorway has a different process. This one I'm doing a pour over on just damp yarn. So I've already made my solution just a second ago of my 3 colors I'm going to use. And this is going to be a variegated yarn. See if I can get a better shot for you. Okay, now this colorway, I pour the dye onto it, and then I let it sit for a little while before I do anything else with it, and then I'll flip it and pour some more dye on the other side, and then I'll add my heat and stuff. So each method of applying the dye creates a different colorway in the end, and it reacts differently and absorbs differently in the yarn. So using a damp yarn and not like a deep dye bath, it sticks to the yarn like where it's placed, as opposed to if you have a deep watery bath, it's going to mix and move a lot more. So this next one is a deep bath, and I'm actually going to apply dye powder to this one. So it's definitely a different method of dyeing, of applying the dye than this one, and it creates a different overall vibe. Okay, so I have a couple more flips on the Summer Vibes one that I'm speckling on there. And the other one is done dyeing, the Casein colorway. And now it just needs to be washed. And then I have a spinner that spins out the extra water and then hang it up to dry. So yeah, I have a little while longer on this. And then I'm going to try, if I have time, to soak some more yarn for another colorway. So the next thing I'm going to dye is some mini skeins. I have some orange yarn that I dyed the other day, and then I want some maroon mini skeins with it to go kind of this vibe, only the main color is going to be orange, and then the maroon is going to be the mini skeins. So an orange and maroon. If you're a hooky, you'll know what vibe I'm going for. So that's my next step for the second pot that I took the Casein colorway out of. And then this one, the Summer Vibes, it still needs one more coating of dye. I've flipped it 4 or 5 times now, rotating it to make sure that there's no big blank spots in this yarn. Some yarns, like the Casein yarn, I like some white to break up the colors, and sometimes I don't, so it just depends on the colorway. But it's looking good now. Alright, check it out. It has cooled off on its own a bit here. And now it's ready to be washed. I don't know if you can see how beautiful this is, but it's lovely. It's got nice blue and pink. Oh, it's really pretty. So that's fun. And then my other pot over here, I had my maroon, and that totally worked out. I ended up having to add a little bit more dye, but I don't know if you can see from over there, but it is the right color, that nice deep maroon, and will go great with my orange I already have. So these are just going to be washed and then spun and then hung out to dry. So all of my yarn that I dyed the past couple of days is now dry, and I wanted to show it to you. I'm going to be winding it up on a skein here. As a skein. This is the Summer Vibes. It is beautiful blues and pinks, some speckles in here, and some purple as well, where the blues and pinks mix. So I think it's really pretty and I really like it. And that's on the fingering weight sock yarn. Right, the other one I was dyeing up is the Casein colorway. It reminds me of tie-dye, like classic tie-dye colors, pink and blue and green. End up having a little bit of orange in here as well. And that green is kind of a yellowy green. So it's a very happy color to me. Then I have those mini skeins in the maroon, which I love how this color turned out. I think it's really pretty. And it goes well with the main skein I'm going to put with it, which is this orange. So let me get one. Here we go. So I'll have the maroon with the orange, which if you're a Hokie, you know they're a great combo. And I just think it's pretty together. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I have plans for this one. And then I just also dyed up some Ocean Cliffs colorway. I had it dyed up on just the regular fingering weight merino nylon, and I dyed up this yesterday on merino cashmere nylon. So it has a little bit of cashmere in there, which makes it just super plump and super squishy and soft. I should step back for all of these, huh? I think it's really pretty. And so squishy. So squishy. All right. So you're going to take them and put them into skeins. And if you're interested, I use a very large knitting needle. I don't have a automatic winder or anything like that for winding up my skeins. So I would take my yarn and make sure it is nice and organized on here. It's not tangled or twisted. And then I put my big knitting needle on one side, and I use a door handle here, if you can see that. So I put one of the loops over there, which I'll angle this down just a little bit. There we go. So one of the loops here on the door handle and the other one in the knitting needle. And then I just twist it up. This can get kind of tedious, but this is the best way I have found to do it currently. You know, if I get a little busier, I guess, in my yarn dyeing business here, or Jobby, then maybe I'll end up doing some type of automatic winder. But for now, it works quite well. And I forgot to show you how I do this part. So I'll do one more before I speed up my camera here. So here we go. This is that Summer Vibes. I might end up calling this Summer Vibes 2, just out of full discretion, because it's a little bit deeper than the first version of this. I really love this version though. I don't know, I'll have to look at my pictures and see. I feel like the blue might be a little bit deeper, but I like it. So again, put it on there, put it on my giant knitting needle, and I twist. Until it's fairly tight. And then when I take it off, so I have the one side that's still in here, and then this was the one on the door handle. And so I insert the tip of the knitting needle into that loop. So tip of the knitting needle into the loop. And then as I bring it through, the big end kind of catches the loop a little bit, and I'm able to pull the end that was over the door handle over the knitting needle one. And that secures it so it doesn't come undone. So super pretty. I hope that the lighting in here isn't washing out, or maybe my outfit isn't washing out this color, because it's super pretty. Okay, so got these two done, and then I will do the rest. All right, so I finished winding everything up, and here I have the mini maroon with the orange. Here is the Ocean Cliffs in the super squishy merino cashmere nylon. Stuff is super, super squishy. The fun casing colorway. And the very fun summer vibes. Yay. Lots of work, but super fun anyways. Okay, I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my process and both the dyeing and the skeins it up and all that stuff. It takes a good bit of time, but I thoroughly enjoy it. Hi, so this morning I am doing some inventory, so I thought I'd show you a little bit about how I do that. So I figure out what I have exactly and how many I have, double check it with Etsy to make sure that it is listed on Etsy and that like I didn't sell something at like the trunk show I just did, just making sure my numbers are correct. Both for my personal inventory, so I list that in an Excel file on my computer over here, as well as double checking Etsy to make sure everything is correct. And then I started storing them in plastic bags just to be extra cautious. I haven't had any issues with moths, but if that were to happen, I would be devastated. So just want to be extra cautious, and it keeps them kind of organized into groupings of like the type of yarn, whether it be, you know, DK or mohair or whatever. So that's what I'm doing.